welcome to the Science Faction Podcast, where science meets fact meets fiction.
This is Science Faction for the week of September 28th, 2025. I'm one of your hosts, Stephen Dominguez, and with me tonight, someone who he's here.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm Benjamin Daniel Ellis, but I do want to say, Stephen.
Yes.
I know that we were talking about this pre-pod.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, patrons, for listening to this. But, you sell yourself short. Sir, you have a 5-star rating on Kindle or on Amazon for your short story, Protective Behavior from the Earth Collective. Which
I do.
Which came out back in 2016.
It's almost 10 years old now.
Award-winning author.
I am. I got second place in a local. I am award-winning. That's so dumb.
I bow to you, sir.
Oh,
I
well.
bow to you.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
If I had a really good publicist, I'm not saying you're not doing a great job right now, but if I had a really good publicist. They could.
I'm doing it for free right now.
I know. I appreciate that. But man, they could spin some of the stuff I've done to sound so much better than it actually is.
Yeah. Yes.
There's a link in the show notes if you want to see what Ben's talking about. But I talked about it pre-pod and all that. So
drop a buck, read a book.
Drop a buck, read a book. Come on. What else is there? That is not going to be there's no way that's going to be the title of this episode. My ego could not handle that. There's no Devon this week. He's on a boat.
He's boats.
Doing flips and stuff. He's off on his Cozumel trip to what it's probably war-torn Mexico. I don't know anymore. If you who knows. No, he's off doing that with family, and that's good for him, is what I have to say about that. Recently, I saw something about cruises, and it was a medical doctor of some sort, but they were just kind of saying this off the cuff. It wasn't like a study or an article. It was more social media, but they were like, hey, as a doctor, I am not going to go on cruises anymore. Because they have, sorry to tell you this too late, Devon, but I think you would have gone anyway.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. If there's anything I've learned about the last 5 years of being on a podcast about science with Devon Craft, it's that sometimes the risk is fine for him. I would say that. He is okay with health risks.
Yeah, 100%. And so apparently
more so than I would have been the last 5 years.
Yeah,
but
for sure. But also neither one of you have died. So no one has the last laugh yet. So when we're super old and we start dropping like flies, we'll see who wins life.
Ooh.
Don't worry, it's gonna be 5 years from now. It's fine. Anyways, this medical doctor,
I'm counting the days.
Same. Said that there were some what is it called? When they do inspections on the cruise ships for cleanliness and stuff, there used to be a requirement for that, and recently, within 2 presidential cycles ago, somewhere around 2016 to 2020, if you get my drift, that stopped happening.
So what sorts of checks, safety checks, or just food safety,
cleanliness checks across the boat, because they go into international waters, there are certain standards that you can't say they have to have, but you can have your own independent checks anyway. It was to the cost of the boat,
the cruise liner,
the company. It's to the cost of the company. It wasn't a governmental requirement or anything, but it was Look, I don't know what I'm talking about right now. It was one of those deals where they're like, hey, we used to require you to like check these things, and now you don't. So you can pass that savings on to your clients, something like that. And because
Yeah,
of that,
I mean,
things happen on boats, and
yeah,
now things happen more often on boats.
yeah.
So, anyways, I've never been on a
Uh,
cruise, so I can't. I don't have zero firsthand knowledge, but I don't feel like that's a place where I would thrive personally.
huh. Okay, okay. Yeah, I mean, interesting. I would imagine that you would like a cruise. Just not I don't think you'd like getting to the cruise. I don't think you'd
Oh,
like coming home from the cruise.
100% no,
But
because I don't like
but
traveling.
I think the idea of having a place that you are at that shows up in different places, but you have not traveled there, you know?
Okay,
That I
yeah.
think, right? Like
I think I would
that might actually be
enjoy
your jam.
that aspect of it. I think the
Yeah.
aspects that I would not enjoy are the cramped quarters and
Yeah,
people all
literally
around me.
everything else. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh, hey, yeah, look at there's all this food. And it's like, yeah, but look at all the people that are coughing on it. And there's like there's a flip side to everything. And
Yeah.
in the best of times, which we are certainly not in,
No.
I'm just kind of okay with people. When there's people out there that it's now thrust in my face how full of hate they are. I want to be around large groups of people even less. So I can't imagine going on a cruise and being around people that I'm like, I don't agree with what they're doing with their lives and how it's impacting others. And now I can't just walk away. And I
Okay.
also can't deal with it because
I mean, you
we're
could
all
push them off
trapped.
the boat.
No,
You could push them off the boat. It's
that's
okay.
murder. No, we're not going to condone murder. No.
All right.
No.
All right. Here's Steven who's talking about it's the end of the world. I'm going to like all right, sure. We're not going to condone a murder.
Look, I don't
Yeah.
want to murder. What I'm saying is there's a better chance of me being murdered than of me to murder, is what I'm saying.
True. Yeah, I hear you. You know where else there are a lot of people?
Where?
The Gamer Festival at the Madonna Inn.
Let's talk
This-
about that because that was something I was excited about and I didn't get a chance to go to.
Yeah,
But you
yeah,
did.
man.
So what was it all about?
All right, let me set the scene for how this weekend went for me. My Saturday started with I was in a parade, and you wake up and parades start early, right?
Ugh.
Especially if it's a parade outside of
I'm out.
your hometown.
Automatically, I'm out. No.
You got to travel to the parade.
No.
And then the entire parade is just a bunch of people waiting in line
Look,
for waiting in line.
if a parade ever goes down my street, I might go outside and wave to the parade. But
There you
to go to a parade to just look at
Yeah.
people traveling
No.
slowly?
Not to look at people, but to actually be the people traveling
to be
slowly.
Yeah. Parades are one of the dumbest things ever invented. Tell me about your parade experience, please. Look at those people drive slow. Let's cheer at 6 in the morning. Go ahead.
It was great for the roller derby team. We got a lot of
it's for the
flyers out,
kids?
'cause next,
good.
Yeah.
That's fine then.
Next,
It's for the kids.
next weekend, if you're in the SLO area and want to come out to see a really awesome time, we've got a bout happening at Santa Rosa Park at 4 p.m. on next Saturday. Tickets are available. And then the adult team is playing right after us, and it's a really great time. So we were kind of doing it as part of like, hey, we're in the community, come out and hey, we're here. If you're interested at all in being part of this, either in watching and finding out how fun the game is, or you want to be on our team, and learn with us.
Yeah.
How awesome is that?
That's
so
cool, man.
Yeah, so we did all that, got done with it, and then as I'm driving back up the coast, we're passing by the Madonna Inn. I'm like, oh, this is the weekend of the Gamer Fest. And I turned to my son, who I was like, hey man, do you want to go with me? He goes, no, I do not. And I realized at that moment, I was like, okay, I'm if the two words gamer festival do
Mhm.
not awaken something in my son who is like devouring Hollow Knight right now.
Good for him.
Yeah, right. Um, if that doesn't like spark something in him, uh, I don't know what I could say to encourage him to come with me to the gamer festival.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I don't know. So then I was like, okay, well, Flint's out,
Mhm.
let's what are my buddies, and so I texted you and our our correspondent across the field,
Adjacent to
uh
the field,
adjacent to the
correspondent.
field. Yeah. And both y'all were like, nah, sorry,
No,
my friend.
no.
No,
I have
you were busy. Yeah.
yeah. I've got a whole story about why I was busy, but please
Yeah.
continue.
But I'm like, you knew about this, Stephen. How did you not clear your calendar for this?
Look, it's anytime the word fest is attached to something, that tells me that's going to be a lot of people that I don't care to look at. So
You just push him off the boat. It's okay. No biggie.
no, that's again, twice now this episode. That's murder. Stop it. Get some help.
No, you give them protective gear, beforehand. Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna
then
slide
you're
him.
fine.
I'm gonna slide him a condom and then push him off the boat, so that he knows that he's.
All right, sounds like we got to bleep this episode.
All right, let's put that note in there. Okay, 15 minutes in, gotta bleep.
Was not me this time.
Nope.
So anyhow,
When you do it for a joke, it's fine. That's what I've decided.
Hey, you're the one editing it, so
that's true.
Yeah. I get there and I realized kind of going into it, I was like, you know what? This is probably one of those things where you're paying for admission to go pay money at things, right? Like
Okay.
that's what it is. And I had some, I guess, like I had some outsized like ideas. I thought, oh, maybe there would be some local indie game developers that might have like a booth there, right?
Yeah, that would make sense. It's San Luis Obispo has a thriving college community. Young
Yeah.
people love to play and make their own games. That's not impossible to
Right.
think an indie developer would be there.
San Luis Obispo was the home of Oddworld Games back in the 90s.
I know. I sent them a letter saying, "Hey, can I work for you guys?" And they were like, "You're in junior high, dude." No.
And yeah, and so we I kind of had that thought in my head. But what's really cool about Gamerfest is that Gamerfest can be a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And so, like, no, there was not any kind of like here's new things. It was more okay. So the most exciting thing to me
Mm-hmm.
was in the back. There was an entire area that was just dedicated to old arcade machines and old consoles and video game tournaments.
Okay. All right. Cool.
So like that was super cool, and so I got to sit
classics.
around. Yeah, well, I mean, like there was a guy playing Duck Hunt right next to me.
Well, there you go.
While I was playing Mario Kart 64 with a bunch of kids, and
Whoa! Hold on. How many kids were in there? Was it just you and a bunch of kids?
It was me and two kids. Yes, so it was a 3-player game.
No, I'm like,
it was
in
not
that
a fully packed game.
I'm saying in the general area.
Oh, in
like,
the general
in
area,
that,
no,
in
it
that
was
back
pretty
area,
packed.
it was just kids.
Yeah, I'd say. Well, no, I mean not just kids. There
Okay.
was plenty of college age people there too.
Oh,
just
all right,
the kids were playing Mario Kart 64, right?
Okay.
Like,
and you and one adult
and me and one adult at that area. But I was surrounded. I mean, there was a Smash Brothers Ultimate tournament going on there, and then kind of away from there, like next to that large area of video games of like everything from an asteroids cabinet to they had an Atari 2600 set up with a couple of games there that you could swap between. Yeah, like it was That was pretty cool.
That's neat. I like
Yeah.
game history stuff.
Next to that, there was a bunch of tables where a bunch of people were playing Magic the Gathering and other
Sure.
TCGs.
Sure.
And then there was the floor, where
Okay.
all the vendors were.
Okay.
And
Okay.
most vendors there were selling the big ticket items, which were Pokemon cards.
Pokemon cards.
Pokemon cards.
Okay.
Lots of Pokemon buying
Wow.
and trading everywhere. There was a couple of places that they were selling, classic, games from all the different eras. Lots of NES cartridges flying around and Genesis.
Okay.
And then like everything up to like Wii and, PS3 games that you could see everywhere that were being sold and consoles too. There was one vendor that was selling like swords based on anime.
Yeah. Okay. People like
You
that.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not really a gamer
another-
thing, but gamer adjacent.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Our local arcade, Andy's Awesome Arcade, had a little booth there, and so I got to talk a little bit with the manager there, and found out that they're having tournaments every first Tuesday of the month there, where they pick a game that's on their floor, and they have a tournament, and if you win, you get like a prize, and you get your name up on the wall. And I'm like, that's really cool. Like,
you
I
gonna
might
go-
show up on a Tuesday.
Dude, go get your name on
And-
the wall.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And if it's the right games, I'm like, if they get Stargate, like, because they have a Stargate cabinet there. If they do a Stargate one, that might be one that I might try to.
What's
'Cause-
not like the movie Stargate?
No, this came out back in like the early '80s, I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's kind of a difficult game to control because you have a so it's an
Trackball?
endless scroller. No
Oh,
trackball. It's an
okay.
endless scroller,
Mhm.
but your joystick only goes up and down. And then there's a button that allows you to change direction, whether you're going to the right or going to the left. And so like you have to kind of rewire your brain.
Oh, yeah, that's different. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So like it's a funky one. It's a sequel to Defender.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If that means anything to you, yeah.
I hope it
Anyhow.
means something to someone.
All right, Vigilante 8 was an incredible game
geez,
on the PlayStation 1.
Not this again.
But Stephen, the coolest table that they had there was two guys there, and there was a sign that said, "I have too many board games. Please help me." It was a bunch of guys from
Oh my
Paso Robles,
gosh, yeah.
and basically like among their friend group, like he's like, I just have too many games. So he picked out all the games that like other members of his friend group also had. And so like, okay, I'm selling these games, and then I'm also selling other gently used games that were the boxes are just too big.
Okay.
Like
how many
maybe they got, like,
copies
the
of
Kickstarter
Gloomhaven
version.
were there?
No copies of Gloomhaven. I did
Okay.
ask. I was like, "Hey, do you guys have ARCs here? Because I need to get a copy of ARCs." And they're like, "No, I'm keeping my copy of ARCs."
Yeah,
Like, that's-
Arcs is the best game that's ever been invented. So
yeah,
no.
I was like, fair, totally fair. But they did tell me about another game that sounded interesting called Broom Service, where you are you're a witch and you are like trying to deliver potions, but it's like a trick-taking game, and I love trick-taking games.
Yeah, you love that.
So yeah, so I was like, oh, tell me more. But they weren't selling it because like they were like, oh well, if you like ARCs and like easy to pick up games, Broom Service might be up your alley. And I was like, cool.
Well, hold
Where
on.
is it? And they're like, we're not selling that.
We're not selling it. It's a good one.
We're keeping that one. Yeah,
We're selling the junk. We're keeping the good stuff.
Well,
A-
I mean,
a second ago, hold
or-
on. A second ago, you said you had ARCs, and then within the same sentence said something about easy to learn. ARCs
Yeah.
was not easy to learn.
No, but I mean, like, no, ARCs is not easy to learn. It's one of the few games that like is very difficult to learn that it really, really resonated with me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
It's like the Stargate you were just explaining. Like you have to kind of rewire your brain a little bit to get the game, to understand the
Right.
game, and that's what
Yeah.
makes it so awesome.
Yeah, indeed. Anyhow,
What else?
yeah. So like I would say that it's really awesome that they did the whatchamacallit, that they did this gamer festival in our local area.
Mm-hmm.
But like I don't know, man. It's not for me. Yeah. As someone who maybe doesn't have discretionary budget or time at the moment, I'm not in the right headspace for any of what they were selling.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
mean, you're not a Pokemon guy, so like
a
you're not
Pokemon
going to be
guy.
spending thousands on cards.
It's been very long time since I was a Pokemon card game guy. I totally get, got massive respect for the people who are still in the scene.
Yeah,
I
sure.
did see a $3,200 card there.
Was it a Charizard?
No, it was okay, so it was in Japanese. And
Oh wow, okay.
I've stopped learning Japanese through Duolingo, my friends. I apologize.
You
I've swapped to Spanish
Oh,
and
that's better.
chess.
That's a way better.
And
yeah.
It just seemed with the population I currently work with, it is more likely I'll come across a Spanish speaking individual than I will
Just
a
being in
Japanese-speaking individual.
California, you're more likely to
Right.
come across a Spanish speaking individual.
Yes, yeah. So, anyhow,
But just since we're talking about that, a quick update for me. I'm still doing the Latin
Yeah.
thing, but I'm also
oh,
taking the music class because I've never learned to read music, and that's teaching me, and I think it's fun and
is
cool.
it? Oh, good. That's awesome. I started on that, and
Mhm.
I mean, my timing is terrible. Tapping on a screen.
Oh, bummer.
I kind of like I don't know. It's something about it. So I went back to I cried in chess and Spanish.
How does one cry in Spanish? Oh, Dios mío. About like that, I guess.
Yeah, kind of. Yes.
Okay, look, I'm gonna talk for a while now. You've been taking too
Please.
long.
I really have.
So when you went to your Gamer Fest, which is, it sounds like not for you, but definitely something that like I support. Like we should have, like it feels good to have things like that to bring those kind of communities together, right? Like I'm sure there was some people that walked in there that day with like Pokemon dreams in their hearts, and they came out fulfilled. You know what I mean?
A lot of people were walking in the parking lot with swords.
Oh well,
yeah, lots of people. So
and you question why I'm like, we're gonna all be dead in 5 years. It's because all the kids have swords now.
You know what? Let them have swords. I mean, it's
that's a lot less damaging to both others and the environment that we live in to just have some swords.
Yeah, it's all
fine.
good. A sweat, as Malcolm Reynolds will say.
A what?
A sweat.
Oh, was that the episode where he was challenged to a duel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember that. That's when Kaylee had that big fancy dress. We're talking about
Right.
Firefly, y'all.
Yeah. And Inara had to try to teach Mal how to how to sword fight.
How to be gentlemanly in sword fight. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Man.
Great show.
What a. Yeah.
We're watching it right now, and we just watched Out of Gas. With my son, and
beautiful episode.
And I was like, this is like the best episode. And he's like, I don't get why you like that one, Dad. Like Janestown, that's the episode. I'm like, all right, you got your.
Oh,
you like funny episodes.
Janestown. It's been so long since my last Firefly rewatch. Oh,
it's worth it, dude.
Yeah,
it's still out there.
Yeah, I mean, not only is it still out there, but I believe I own both DVDs and Blu-rays of that season.
Can't take the sky from you.
No.
Okay. Louder.
So you were at the thing. I couldn't go because I was doing a different thing. I was running a game of Mutant Crawl Classics. What's that?
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mutant Crawl Classics, I've talked about it on the show before. I'll do just a really quick recap. It's an offshoot of Dungeon Crawl Classics, which is kind of a newer remake of old D&D or old role-playing games. So there's a little bit of number crunch in there. It's very deadly system, and it's also wacky. It's also kind of strange and silly and bizarre, which is cool. And so Dungeon Crawl Classics was so well received, they created Mutant Crawl Classics, which is like the sci-fi version. Because Dungeon Crawl Classics is the typical fantasy tropes, and Mutant Crawl Classics it's not typical sci-fi tropes, but they're in there. It's set in a world called Terra AD. It's some unknown amount of time in the future. The sky's red. There's a sky arc, but no moon. Everything's been destroyed and built up and destroyed again. And you start off playing as like tribals. And there's, broken down cities and all this crazy technology that's like magic and robots and mutants. And it's all that mixed together, which sounds like a whole lot of fun. So the first thing we did was ran a funnel, which is you go from level 0. You have like 4 level 0 characters. We run a session, and you might be left with 1 or 2 alive at the end. You pick one of those. Typically, it's 1. You pick one of those to then become level 1, and then you can start your adventure proper. So we've done that with this group, and so they're going on their first adventure, and it's something that I wrote, and it was called Tower. Anyway, now it's called Tower of Power because of what happened at the tower. But I made kind of a random generator for what each floor of this tower was going to be. And so as we were playing the game, it was fun for me because I got to roll and say like, all right, here's what's happening on this level. And then, they go through it and get to the stairs, and I get to roll some dice to figure out what's on the next level. So when I wrote that, I had a kind of a story arc where at the top of the tower was going to be a boss fight. And then you get some treasure, and then you go home. When we were playing that session, they got up to the floor right before the top floor, and we had to call it because we'd been playing for like 6 hours or something. Mm-hmm. And it was like, no problem. When we come back, we'll do the rest of it, and then we'll keep the game going from there. And everyone was fine with that. So that was this session. So it has been, because one of the dudes takes notes. Austin, what's up, Austin? He doesn't listen. I like how I say hi to people and then immediately say they don't listen because nobody listens. It's fine. But Austin's cool. He's a cool guy. We play the Fallout game RPG together as well with other people. He takes notes, and he was like, "Oh, according to my notes, because he dates them, the last time we played was like May or something. Like it's been a long time. Like it was pretty much. I couldn't play all summer, because kids aren't in school and it takes prep and stuff. Yeah. Anyways, I took the extra time for this session to make the top floor not just a boss fight, but like a mini dungeon and then boss fight. So I had time to really develop that part of the area. And so we ran it. Everyone had a lot of fun. They've told me. They got through everything. At the end, there was a big robot that they had to fight, and they succeeded in destroying it, and they talked to the people that were captured there, and they stole from them the thing that was going to save their tribe, and they kept it for themselves. So there may be some retribution in the future. It was a matter exchanger. So it's I created a device saying that you just, whatever material you put into it, you program what you want to come out, and it'll just convert it like almost instantly, right? So as a demonstration within the game, they just grabbed a bunch of trash and scraps that were on the ground, threw it in the hopper, pressed the button, and like a spear came out the other end. Like it just transforms the matter, because this is something that's thousands of years in the future, if this is even Earth. It's one of those deals. All the science is just magic. Anyways, they stole that. And the other tribe that was there was like, "You're killing our tribe." And they were like, "Yeah, but this is for our tribe, so it's fine." Really quite funny. Anyways, so what was also cool is that I knew that the boss fight was going to be against a big robot. And So the other thing that I had been meaning to do, in the sense that I've watched a bunch of YouTube videos about it, is to scratch build my own miniatures.
Oh.
And especially when it comes to like sci-fi, it's great because you just grab any trash that you have, and you can get all those little bits and pieces and glue them together in a way that makes sense, and you can create something. And so I'll text you a picture of it, but I'm also going to post it with our Patreon. So if you're a patron, you'll get these images as well. I'm like super proud of what it looks like, and everyone. I think the best compliment that I could have gotten on it was one of the guys asked, "What game is that from?" And I got to say, "No game. I made it myself."
Heck yeah.
So I just texted it to you. It's cool because there's this idea of, and this is from a YouTube channel called like Bill Making Stuff, I believe. And he does this thing called bead bots, where you take beads, like the kind of beads that you'd use for jewelry or whatever. You can get a ton of them super cheap, and you get some wire, and you use those beads to make like robot arms and legs and stuff. And so this robot that I made had like a big solid core to it, but then I had 6 arms coming off of it that used this bead method. And so they has like this cool, like, it looks like segments, right? And that's like classic, 50 sci-fi robot arms. So anyways, it was cool. I got to finally show the Discord group, that local group that I'm a part of, where we, like, when we paint our minis, we post pictures and be like, look what I did. And someone could be like, that's awesome. Or you've painted it wrong, whatever, advice. So I was able to finally post that on there and be like, guys, check out what I made, and so super fun hobbies.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
I just looked at the time. We've already been going for half an hour.
Well, the good news is we probably won't have a lot to say about book club.
Yeah, that's true. That book club's going to be pretty short this week, I think.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. But oh my gosh, I do have a correction that I want to make sure that I get out there. So last week I talked a little bit about Star Trek Con, which is audio drama on podcast form. I had said that they were doing 3 episodes. Well, I got to the end of the 3rd episode. It didn't end. Like, it's smack dab in the middle of the story, and
cliffhanger.
And it's really good. No, more like there are 9 episodes going to be in this. I'd been following the development of this from like way back when it was originally going to be a movie. It was like going to be the first Paramount Plus Star Trek movie, like streaming movie, all the way to it being like a 3-part TV miniseries, and now it's a 9-part podcast audio drama.
Oh man, how far? If you started off as a movie and now you're a podcast, oof, that sucks.
It's really good.
I'm glad.
Steven.
I'm glad it's really good.
My
That's
God.
awesome.
I would say that Naveen Andrews as Khan is one of the best casting decisions that Star Trek has made in terms of recasting classic characters probably ever. Like, he's just, I mean, you don't see him, you hear him, but
right.
Boy, like what he brings to the role of Khan, that his interpretation of it is so effective and great. Like, the story is great. I mean, like, the story was written by the guy who wrote Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan.
Right.
So, like, this is bona fide. And anyhow,
I mean, bona fide isn't canon, but okay.
That's a really interesting point, I guess.
No, it's
canon.
Like,
it's canon in terms of the movies, right? Like, and the original series and the movies. It is, depending on if you count Star Trek Strange New Worlds as canon,
there it is.
It is no longer, because Star Trek Strange New Worlds has rewritten the timeline so that the eugenics wars didn't happen in the 1990s.
Oh, when did they happen?
like in
2025.
2030s. Yeah, like they moved it up several decades.
We're getting
Yeah,
there. We'll get there. Uh,
it's. I mean, it just goes to show you, like, it's a lot easier just to think that Strange New Worlds is just in another alternate universe, like the Kelvin verse was.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I have no, especially this last season, there is no way that they can connect the dots from what they have done to Star Trek to what we have already seen. Like, it is
that far removed, huh?
it would take a lot of backflips to do it, and it's not. I don't think it's in their best. I don't think it's in anybody's best interest. I wouldn't want to watch a show that was trying to make up the difference that they have set up.
Okay, but
now.
What about this? What about so this is, what season are they on now?
They just finished the third season.
Third season?
They have another season and a half, depending on if you count the fifth season as being, if it only has 6 episodes, is it a half season or is it a full season? I don't know. But
Okay.
they're ending at season 5.
Okay,
with
so
the 6-episode order.
You're currently watching season 3, or that's over now?
That just finished. Yeah.
Just finished. Okay, so next season, it's season 4. It's gonna get even crazier.
Probably.
Right? It's going to continue to veer off the rails, because season 5 is going to be their time travel season, and they're going to fix everything that everyone's yelling about in some big heroic way, and that's how they're going to end the series.
I believe that what they did with this season was like a problem of they were coming off of the backs of 2 Hollywood strikes, you know?
Okay.
And so they had to get something on the air. They did their best with what they could do in terms of production. So the production values and the special effects are incredible, but the scripts could have used some really significant rewriting.
Okay. All right.
Is just how I see
Fair enough.
season 3, because season 1 and 2 were so good, and you know, the season had some interesting highs, but nothing to the like as good as what they had in the first 2 seasons.
Wow. All right.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
and they made some real weird decisions. For anybody that goes back and rewatches the episodes that they reference and goes, wait, like,
hold on.
Hold up. Anyhow,
hey, do you want to do future now, or should we just keep talking and then take a break? And then you do or don't?
Yeah, I don't need to talk about that stuff.
All right. There's no future. There's no now. There's only parking garage rally circuit. Let's talk about it.
There's only Zool.
Yeah.
So a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about how I had gotten 3 games from my Steam wish list that were like in a bundle all together, and they were all driving games.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of those games is a game called Parking Garage Rally Circuit. Parking Garage Rally Circuit is it's incredible. I'll just say that, like, right off the bat.
It sounds like you're going to be racing cars inside parking garages. Is that what this is?
Yes.
That's a real thing too. Like, I've seen that.
Ooh, okay. All right. Cool.
It more closely tied to like the drifting scene.
Oh, yeah, like Gymkhana. Right?
Yeah. I'm not deep into that, but I do recognize the name. So, like, this isn't just some crazy video game thing like this, but I'm sorry, right. Is this a crazy video game thing, and they're just taking the name?
I mean, it's each one of the 8 levels is modeled after like a pseudo real life location in America, like the different parking garages in America. Okay. And so, like, going from the parking garage at Mount Rushmore to the parking garage, like, there's a particular parking garage in Chicago. There's one that's like at Liberty Island. There's like, it's pretty wacky, but like when you first boot it up, you feel like you're like it's 1994, because it looks like a game that's supposed to run on a Sega Saturn. Like, very specifically Sega Saturn inspired graphics. And then you start listening to the soundtrack, and it's all ska, baby. Like,
Oh no.
oh yeah,
I mean, oh yeah.
it's a pretty just incredible soundtrack. Like,
Is the
I have
soundtrack
not.
is the soundtrack like a MIDI track, or are these licensed songs that are playing?
These are original songs by the band Holophonics
Oh, you looked it up.
that yeah,
Got it.
and they're real good.
Wow, they're real good
Yeah.
bands. A real big fish is the joke.
Right. Yeah, so like I can't it's got really tight controls.
Mhm.
And yeah, like it's just a real fun time. And even my 12-year-old, I was like, hey Flint, come and play this game with me. He's like, this is pretty fun. I'm like, yeah, all right, cool.
You got the
It's not
seal of
just
approval
me.
from a tween. Amazing.
Yeah, it's not just me being nostalgic for like a game that never existed back then, but like is meant to make you nostalgic for it, you know?
And it's
Um,
an actual good game.
yeah, yeah, super good game. Right now on Steam, it's overwhelmingly positive in its reviews.
How many reviews
And
though? Is it 4 or is it like 1,000?
1,102 reviews.
Yeah, okay. So that's more than
Well,
the 4 5-star reviews I got on my short story.
I mean, yeah, this isn't perfect though, not like your story.
No,
but
this is. I mean, it's pretty good, but it's not as good as my the 5 stars my
Eh,
short story got on Amazon.
exactly. Yeah. So if you've got $10, this is
Buy
a
10
great
copies of my short story.
or buy
Gross.
Parking Garage Rally Circuit once. A
Yes.
recent update added Steam Workshop support, so it's got
Oh,
a bunch
nice.
of like community made levels.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
and yeah, so
Cars 2 are the level of graphics, is it cartoony? Is it realistic? Somewhere in the middle? What are the graphics like?
somewhere in the middle. But
Mhm.
if you know anything about that era of video games, the idea is that the polygons are pretty flat and sparse. There's
Mhm.
a lot of dithering on the on colors.
Right.
Um, it's it's very like some of the it's not quite PlayStation 1 era where you had a lot of, because the polygons weren't like they had a math error, a rounding error
Oh no.
in their processor. So like whenever you see a PlayStation 1 game, sometimes like the polygons will get all wonky, and like as it's adjusting, it kind of like the edges of stuff shift a little bit. It
Mhm.
doesn't quite have that, but
Okay.
it's kind of like that because it's meant to look like a Sega Saturn game,
Right. It's
which didn't have
simulating
problem.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So that tells me the graphics, like when it comes to the cars, kind of give you a general vibe of what kind of car it is. It looks sleek.
oh
It
yeah,
looks chunky. But it's not like
yeah,
that one's supposed to be a Mustang, but they can't say Mustang, so
no,
it's called the horse car. It's
you only have 3 different car classes, and then you can change the livery of them.
oh,
So like
cool.
so you've got like the the beginner class, the heavy class, and then the ultra class.
Okay.
And so when you're playing through it and trying to make your way through the game in order to unlock more things, you have to place in the top 3 at each level in order to progress. And then when you get to the end of the 8th level, then you get to play the next set of 8 tracks with the next classic car. And it's kind of the difficulty level.
Okay.
And
Right on.
it's got, you can play it online. I haven't also split screen if you want to, but like whenever I've looked online, nobody, like there isn't anybody playing it yet, you
Oh.
know. So
Wait, did it
I
just come
wouldn't
out,
get
or
it.
is this something that's come and gone already?
It's been out for a year,
Okay.
just
Got
over
it.
a year.
This you have that, or maybe you don't, but I assume you still have that arcade cabinet that you can plug your Steam Deck
Yeah.
into.
Yes, I do.
That
And
feels this
yeah.
feels like it should be that kind of game where you're standing there in your garage, beer in hand, playing this on your arcade cabinet.
Yes, yeah, yeah. And in fact, I had to do a little bit of adjustment to the controls because by default it uses the stick and not the directional buttons to steer.
Oh, okay. Sure.
You know, and so I had to kind of adjust that.
Yeah,
But
well,
no,
you should
it works
change
great.
it. You should change it so that to go like forward and backward, you have to use the stick, and then left or right, you have to press one button that toggles either left or right. That's the optimal way to play that game.
Sure. Yes, exactly. Like in Stargate. Yes.
Exactly. Get Stargate controls for parking garage rally circuit. If you
Yeah,
just
indeed.
understood that sentence, thank you for paying attention to this podcast.
Vigilante 8.
Ugh.
All right. So yeah, thank you. Since Devon was here, I felt like I could talk about video games with my buddy.
Of course, man.
Thanks, Steven.
You're welcome.
You know.
I see here you've got Rick and Morty. What was the best episode of the season?
Yeah. Have you watched season 8 of Rick and Morty?
I did.
Yeah.
I watched
Did
the
you finish it?
entire thing, and
Yeah.
it was B minus.
Okay. Interesting. All right.
Yeah, I mean it was Rick and Morty. There wasn't anything about that I was like, they that was weird or that was bad. It was just like, yeah, these feel like all of the average episodes that are typically in a season, but there weren't enough like highs. Like every now and then there's an episode it's like, oh man, that one went crazy, and they never reached that level. Any of them, I felt.
I think that the episode where Jerry goes on the road, that was my highlight of the season.
Oh, dude, that's got you written all over it.
Right?
Yeah.
Just everything about that episode is just like, oh, I want to see so much more of this. Like this is pretty cool.
See, yes, but it's also just kind of riffing off of the Jerry Burry. Do you remember that side bit?
Where he was where he went to where it was like a
it's like a preschool, for Jerry's.
Yeah.
So yeah, Rick and Morty would bring their Jerry to this place, check him in with a ticket, and then he got to stay there while they went on an adventure, and they'd come back and pick him up. And the joke in the episode is that like as they're gonna go get him, something happens and they end up maybe switching tickets with another Rick and Morty, and the Jerrys are like, wait, and they're just like, come on, like it doesn't matter, you're just a Jerry. And that was one of the first times in the show where it was like, oh, characters might be switching universes without us knowing, and it ultimately doesn't really matter. But like that was like later on they referenced it again, and they had switched Jerry's, so they just like switched them back. And then now this one is like the Jerry's kind of doing their own thing. Do you want to explain? Do you want to get into this, or do you want to just move on?
Sure, at least a little bit. Yeah. So basically, there's a Jerry sitting down eating breakfast at the breakfast table, and he's got a little bit of 5 o'clock shadow, and everybody's like, "Hey, Jerry," you know, and he just kind of waves them on, and then Jerry walks in, and he's been caught. So this other Jerry convinces our Jerry to go take a little walk on the road, quote unquote, which is just a series of interdimensional trapdoors that lead from like closets and other places in the environment that that
They're always like
he can
behind the scenes kind of places. It's a back alley. It's
Right.
under a log. It's places people don't typically go, and that's where the Jerrys go back and forth.
Instead of a portal gun, he just goes through different universes because they found these places.
Yeah.
And they there's a bunch of Jerrys that have just kind of decided to hit the road because their universes, maybe they messed up somehow with their families and didn't think that they could go back, or what. But
some of them ran off. Some of them are they just travel for a bit and then go back, and
right. Or even an intense cataclysm happened and they just and the rest of their reality has been destroyed. Like, who knows? Well, they get on the road, and it turns out that some Jerrys are meaner than others and are have a little currency going, or a little like black market for transporting Jerrys from one universe to another. And yeah, it was pretty cool for a concept where you'd think, oh, this is an episode I should just like, it's going to be a throwaway episode. It's just about Jerry, like whatever. They did a great job with that.
That was an interesting concept. It seems like they've played the joke of, look, there's other Jerrys from other universes, but it's always a dumb Jerry, right? Like it's never been. That's always the end joke, and that's kind of the joke that ended up happening. There was like, yeah, this is just a bunch of, they're still dumb Jerrys, but they're also evil dumb Jerrys,
Yeah.
So it was cool, it was interesting, but again, it wasn't anything that I was like, oh my gosh. I think the best one that I enjoyed was the one where it follows a Rick and a bunch of Mortys after the Citadel was destroyed in a previous season, the Citadel of Ricks. And so, like, part of it's smashed on this moon, and there's a bunch of Mortys running around, and Ricks, different kind of Ricks, and it focused on a Rick and a Morty that aren't the main Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
They like entered in, like at the beginning of the episode, then leave, and you stay with the people that were there. Like a Rick that just wants to be left alone, and a bunch of Mortys doing Morty stuff. And then at the end, after their whole adventure, which was kind of, they're able to be a little more epic and dramatic because they're not immortal. Like the main characters of the show, even if it's from a different universe or whatever, like that they are the show, so they're not just gonna like kill off Rick. Something's gonna take its place, or he's it was a fate, whatever. They write, it's never gonna happen. But when they go on these little like side adventures with other versions of them, they're not safe because you can kill them, and then the camera will pan back to the quote unquote real Rick and Morty, and then they make a joke about it and they walk off. And that's kind of what happened here. Is you end up getting this really intense story about these two communities, the community of Ricks, the community of Mortys, and like how their historical problems have now followed them to this new world. It's a very it was kind of an not intricate, but it was a thoughtful story. And in the end, their sacrifices had to be made, and because of that, there was a bit more of an emotional impact. Like you never know what's going to happen in these side stories, like I was saying a second ago. So some sacrifices were made, hard choices. It was kind of cool. And then the camera pans back over to our Rick and Morty, just kind of showing up after this big traumatic thing happens, making a few jokes and leaving. And you're like, wow, that's how people treat other people's tragedies.
Right.
Like it was the equivalent of, there was a car wreck on the side of the road. We slow down, kind of glance at it, and then take off, and it's never thought of again. They kind of did that to themselves. So at least I dig the lore stuff and that whole Citadel of Ricks. There's some long-standing lore that from episode to episode for that whole area. So it's I like when they kind of go back and revisit that.
Yeah, indeed. Right on.
Yeah. Anyways, that's my contribution there. Let's go ahead and take our break.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, and when we come back, we will talk about scroll. Good news from the Vatican.
by Robert Silverberg.
Yes, and as we've alluded to, the talk will not be long. So we'll be right back. Hey you. Yeah, you sitting there listening to this for free, like some kind of podcast freeloader. Look, I'm not saying you owe us, but if you enjoy our deep dives into AI, space, and comic book mayhem, maybe toss a coin to your podcasters. Join our Patreon, get into our Discord, grab some exclusive content, and finally achieve that deep, satisfying sense of superiority over your non-Patreon listeners. Just imagine their sad, uninformed little faces. Patreon.com/Science Faction Podcast. Because knowledge is power, and power is best hoarded behind a paywall. And we're back.
Heyo.
Hello.
And a big thank you to our patrons, Renee and Josh. Thanks a bunch. Patreon.com/ScienceFactionPodcast. And you would get like 40 more minutes of this episode.
Yeah, we be rambling tonight.
Dude. Yeah. But I'm not not our usual let's just look this up on the internet dead air. I think that
no, we had a good talk about music and anniversaries of musics. That was a good 20-minute talk we just had.
And it's weird, man. I feel like I didn't have a lot of caffeine today, but I'm on. Let's go. And so we will be on next week, where we will read Terry Bisson's incredible "They're Made Out of Meat." Just
we've been teasing it for a couple weeks now, just what that story is, and now we're just gonna do it. I don't know. We tried looking.
I thought we went through. I thought this is something that we covered on the show. But looking through the vast reservoir of searching on our website, I didn't find an episode where we actually talked about it. So
so either the search function is broken or we are. I'm gonna
definitely
say
broken.
We are.
That's why I rely. Yeah, that's why I rely on the search function.
We are the broken ones. Okay, so next week They're Made Out of Meat, Terry Bisson. And we've got, looks like we found a link to the story and a YouTube of somebody reading it or something.
No, so okay, so here's the weird part about this story is the story is essentially just the dialogue between two characters.
Okay.
So if you look on YouTube, you're probably not going to find readings of it. You're going to find productions of it.
Ooh, let's make a production out of this one.
This is a production that that recently came out. It seemed like it won some awards. I haven't seen this particular production yet. Looking through the comments on it, it says something about I think somebody was like, "Hey, I really liked this is probably the best ending that I've ever seen for any of the adaptations of the story." I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." So cool. If you'd like to experience it that way, it will, from what I know about the story, since it's just dialogue, experience it however you want to experience it.
It's like a Kevin Smith movie. It's just people talking. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyhow, this week, though, Robert Silverberg's 1971 Nebula Award-winning short story, Good News from the Vatican.
Okay, so we've alluded a few times already in this episode that this story was no good.
That we were not going to say much about it.
I mean, there's not much to say. It really feels like a failure. It feels like.
Tell us what you really think, Steve.
It is the worst. No. So look. It was well written. I was able to understand it. I know what the author was talking about. There is no that was weird. It was just oh, that's it. And Good News from the Vatican. Yeah. It starts off where it's this is how the Pope works, and you're like, what? And then the hammer drops.
the papacy.
The papacy. They talk, the colors of smoke and the cardinals and the whole deal that what they're setting up is that
when a pope dies, the new pope needs to be found and agreed upon. And this happened recently, this year.
Mm-hmm.
We had a new pope, so it's kind of timely.
This is we got the American pope now. That was the big deal. He's from Chicago.
That's right. And so, but this is a story where, in this particular sense, they're debating whether a robot should be pope.
Yeah. And so when that popped in, I was like, oh, cool. This is going to be a story about people either accepting or rejecting a robot who must have some thoughts and ideas about the existence of a god, if they're going to be, elected or confirmed pope, whatever it is. Like, I want to hear that discussion. Like, how does this created being have not only a belief system, but a human belief system?
Yeah. How would its perspective, like, impact leading, millions of humans in terms of their own belief system?
Right. So I was like, okay, I get it. That's what this story's going to be. That sounds cool.
Wouldn't that be awesome if that were what the story was?
And so that is the failure in my eyes.
Yeah.
Where I'm like,
Okay,
that's the story that was just set up, and then they don't do that.
No.
Instead, it is a group of people that are all part of various religions, different faiths, but not super different, except for like the rabbi.
Right, which is not super different. It wasn't like there was a Muslim or a Hindu or
it wasn't
Buddhist.
that diverse. I still imagined all of them as white men, even the woman, like, because that's all. That's how they acted, and they were just like sitting in a cafe, like watching the smokestack for the smoke, and they kind of talk about it, but not in an interesting way.
Yeah,
and then as the discussions are happening, the main character whose mind you're in goes, I didn't want to hear them talk about that anymore, so I turned away. And you're like, oh, so now we don't get to hear it either. Cool. Well, now what are we talking about? Nothing. I don't remember. Do you remember? It was nothing.
I think that so there are some interesting quotes from this. So one of them was, the proper pope for our times is a robot, certainly. At some future day, it may be desirable for the pope to be a whale, an automobile, a cat, a mountain.
See, I really
I kind of want to know. Yeah, I kind of want to know why. Why would you say that?
Can we unpack that sentence, please? Like, that's an interesting science fiction / thoughts about faith. Like, what is the world going to look like when they're like, you know what, the next pope is that mountain, and here's why. I want to hear that, please.
Yeah, every era gets the pope it deserves, and it's like, okay, why does this era deserve a robot pope?
Yeah, okay, good. Now they're going to talk about that, right?
Yeah.
Nope. No one talks about the why that was said.
Yeah. I found it kind of interesting that there were a bunch of robots that have like that are planning on getting an immediate audience with the Pope as soon as the robot Pope is
confirmed or
is brought in. Yeah, confirmed. Yeah, and so it's
which, like,
it doesn't go anywhere.
There's so many more questions with that. Like, okay, so there is a community of robots in America somewhere.
Yeah,
can we expand on that? No.
Oh,
they're all Catholics? No, we're not going to talk about that. Why are the robots Catholic? Nope. Mm-mm.
So is the robot Pope mounted on wheels? Oh no, they're on treads like a tractor has. But I love this quote. But I don't think that treads are spiritually inferior to feet, or for that matter, to wheels. If I were a Catholic, I'd be proud to have a man like that as my Pope. Not a man, Miss Harshaw puts in. A giddy edge enters her voice whenever she addresses Rabbi Mueller. A robot, she says. He's not a man, remember? To the new Pope. And that's, and it's just a bunch of people drinking and talking about.
And someone's not paying the bill, and then someone else is covering the money. It's just boring. And then the Pope comes out. Like, here, it's like, all right, maybe there's going to be something awesome at the end. Kind of, but no. The robot Pope is the one that's elected, or they have to like choose a name. I don't remember what it was, but they
Pope Sixtus the Seventh.
Yes, Sixtus the Seventh.
Yeah, right. Sisto Sedimo, Pope Sixtus the Seventh.
Is this a big 6-7 joke that we're not supposed to get? Is this
where it started? Have you been picking that up from your kid too? Because
that's so, the new meme.
There have been 5 real popes with the name Pope Sixtus.
Okay.
So this would be the 7th one. So in this story, there would be a Pope Sixtus the Sixth, and now Pope Sixtus the Seventh.
Okay. So the robot pope comes out, rolls out, I should say, and everyone's cheering, yay! And he says some stuff, and then just flies up into the sky, and the story ends.
He doesn't say anything that I would expect a robot pope to say something different than a human one would. Like, our help is in the name of the Lord, he declared gravely. He begins to rise into the air, who hath made heaven and earth. He says, may Almighty God, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost bless you. His voice rolls majestically towards us. His shadow extends across the whole piazza. Higher and higher he goes until he's lost to sight.
He just flies up into the air.
Yeah, with his levitator jets.
His levitator. Come on. Like,
it's like the setup for a Futurama joke.
It is.
And it doesn't go anywhere.
It's that is 100% like that. This is the thing that Futurama would make a joke about, and the joke would be better than the source material.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised. Like, within Futurama, there is a robot religion.
Right. Yes.
And there's a robot, like, they just put robot in front of everything. So like the robot, I think there's probably a robot pope or whatever. But anyways,
So I guess then the question I have for you right now is that, like, okay, we're reading this in 2025 where artificial intelligence,
we have actual robots running around that we cannot trust.
That are making decisions about our government and about tariffs and about,
oh my gosh, yeah,
and about what jobs should be cut from, in the name of efficiency. Like,
our quote unquote AI is still in its infancy, and we're relying on it so heavily, so quickly. It's the dumbest thing.
Yeah, but this in turn, is we coming at this. I don't think that you or I were thinking, oh, this is so outrageous. What we're coming at it is from a 2025 standpoint of like, okay, yeah, this seems to be table stakes for a science fiction story. What interesting thing are you going to be saying? But in 1971, the confluence of technology and religion was not as much of a thing, right? Like,
but okay, I see what you're saying, and that, like, having a story like this with a robot pope that becomes the pope was enough of a wow, this story's crazy. This is really edgy stuff.
How could he say that about Catholicism? Like, oh
wow, yeah,
yeah.
But even then, it's just not that interesting. Like,
I guess I'm trying to figure out how it's like a 1971 Nebula Award winner, and I'm also like, well, maybe we shouldn't really read the other stories that were up for nomination that year. Like, I don't know.
Maybe it was a weird year. I'm thinking, like, maybe
you just not agree with them with whoever decided this.
It also could be like, so the space race was still kind of going on, right? Like 60, we land on the moon in 69. And then there's more space stuff. I'm assuming is still happening at 71, 2 years later. It be that just like the zeitgeist of the time was very like pro sci-fi, and anything that could possibly happen is interesting, right? Like, oh, robot pope, the mind boggles. Like, was it one of those things? And like, yeah, we've just aged out of that because there's been so much in sci-fi from that point forward of like things getting mashed together in interesting ways that we end up talking about the story a lot. That
we're trying to crack it open, and
we're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I forgot. I lost my train of thought.
Yeah. But like, yeah, perhaps it of the era, this was like, oh, you know what? Like, maybe, or like, this story is about a bunch of people in a cafe, right?
Yeah.
That's ultimately its setting, and where they're musing about different things that are to them just matter of fact what's happening in the news. How amazing would it be to take someone, if we were to take somebody from 1971 and sit down with them and have them overhear what we would talk about in a cafe about the current events of today. Like,
It would be incomprehensible.
yeah. Yes. Like, yeah.
Did you hear the president on Temu, what they call it, Temu, Twitter, say that, and they'd be like, "I'm sorry, what were those words?" Yeah,
Yeah. No, it's just, yeah.
we live in a world of memes and ever changing everything's.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So,
No,
you know,
look,
it also may hit different because you and I are not Catholic. Too.
That could be
May
as
also
well.
be
But okay, look, even there wasn't like deep Catholic lore that it was like, oh, I didn't understand that because they were talking about blah blah blah. That wasn't even in here, right? Like the thing about, okay, look, these stories. This is what I just came up with, and we'll end on this because we've gone too far. Unless you, of course, have a genius rebuttal. These stories,
you know, I do.
I hope you do. These stories have two sides to them. There's the idea and there's how it's written. So the idea in this one, robot pope, cool. How it's written, terribly. Right? And some stories, it was written really well and the idea was maybe not, finalized or didn't make a whole lot of sense. We've read stories like that as well. It's when they both hit and you're like, yes, the idea was awesome and it was written in a way that complemented it and that was wonderful. This story for me is I like the idea, it was written terribly. And it could be that for that time, the idea was more important than the way it was written. And it's like, wow, like Catholicism, Pope, robotics, like that's all stuff that's hot. Those are all hot button issues in 1971. Let's put them all in the story. And that could have been, tremendously creative of Robert Silverberg to take these things and put them together and, brave to talk about, then the Pope flew off into space or whatever. Like that could have been like, wow, I can't believe he actually wrote that. But when you break it down, it just wasn't written very well. It's not a very interesting story beyond the main interesting idea.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
That's just how I feel about it. All right. Well, yeah, that was thanks Nebula Awards.
Yeah, if it wasn't award winning, I wouldn't read it. That's the Stephen Dominguez promise.
There was something that made it, like some people found this to be worthwhile, right?
Yeah.
And yeah,
I think that just proves it was a different world.
I mean, it could have been a world where, at that year, maybe everything was so fantastical and pulpy. This was not a pulpy story.
Maybe all the sci-fi was about moon men and stuff. And it's like, we've had enough of that. Let's get some different sci-fi. And this is different.
Yeah, indeed.
All right.
All right.
Well, we did not do Future or Now this week because we just felt like chatting. And that's fine.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. So that means what that means, Ben. Next week we don't have to look for stuff. We've already got it.
Yeah, let's go. Unless the entire world changes between now and then.
Hey, we might be dead.
As it constantly does.
Oh boy.
I mean, there are things worse than death, my friend.
It's gonna be a trip going. Yeah, jeez. It's gonna be a trip going back and like re-listening to these podcasts in 10 years where it's like, oh, every week they're just kind of talking about the some science and some science. Wait, there's a pandemic. Oh goodness. And then through the lens of this podcast, go through a pandemic and a couple of real oddball presidencies and the downfall of civilization, just episode by episode. It's
I mean, I jumped in with y'all during the pandemic, because Devon had his second kid, and
that's right. Yeah, and we needed some help just for like a week, maybe two. Guess what?
Until the world got back together,
Yeah, just till things, a couple weeks, and then everything's gonna blow over. We'll be fine.
Right? Just a couple of weeks of us just staying put inside our houses, No, everything's fine.
There's, if you're a student of history, recent history, you could point to an event that things have never been the same since. And of course, it's 9/11. And now, because that so much time has passed since then, now it's like weird conspiracy theories about how that event skewed us into a different timeline of bad things happening. And that's what happened. 100%. Anyways, I have got nothing to say beyond that. We don't know if it's true. Sure feels like it.
Sure feels like it.
Yeah. All right. So next week, Devon should be back. Hopefully he makes it back safe and sound from his trip abroad. And they're made out of meat. Terry Besson. Find your copy. Check out the link in the show notes. Read along. It's bizarre and fun. And that's going to be it for this episode. Ben.
Right on. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you have any final thoughts or words for us?
Like earlier this week, my son came up to me. He's like, "Hey, Dad, today I watched someone do 50 push-ups. Do you think you could do that?" And I thought about it. And I'm like, well, like I don't mean to brag, but I could probably watch someone do 100 push-ups.
Good night, everybody.
This has been the Science Faction Podcast. Tweet to the host at SciFactPodcast. Email them at sciencefactionpodcast@gmail.com and visit sciencefactionpodcast.com for more episodes.